This might be the best way I've ever made salmon. Sweet, savory, honey sesame salmon loaded into perfectly baked sweet potatoes. Let me show you how. First, we're going to start by prepping our sweet potatoes since they take the longest to bake. Drizzle each potato with oil of your choice. Today I'm using avocado oil since it has a higher smoke point. It's great for roasting sweet potatoes in the oven. Then just rub all the oil into the potatoes and top it with a generous amount of salt and pepper. This may look like a lot of salt and pepper, but sweet potatoes can handle it. It balances the natural sweetness and brings out the flavor. It also helps the skin get nice and crispy, which is perfect since we're loading it, so don't be shy. Once we're done with that, pop these in the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 1 hour or so until it's fork tender or the internal temperature is about 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Now let's get started on the sauce. With the heat off, to a pan add a half a cup of honey. I always add a little extra since it gets stuck to the cup. And then we're going to add 1/4 cup of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of sesame oil. I unfortunately didn't have much left. 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar. I tried to get the rest of my sesame oil out just because I didn't have enough. And then we're going to add 1 tablespoon of minced garlic and then 1 teaspoon of ginger. Now just turn the heat on to medium and bring this to a simmer, stirring occasionally. And while that's simmering, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of cornstarch to a small bowl and 1 tablespoon of cold water. This is the cornstarch slurry we're going to use to help thicken the sauce up later. Mix that and set it aside. Continue to stir the sauce until it comes together, and when it comes to a light boil like this, we're going to go ahead and add the cornstarch slurry. Mix that in and then add some sesame seeds. I added about 1½ teaspoons or so. You can toast the sesame seeds before adding them by cooking them in a separate pan on medium heat with no oil for about 2 to 4 minutes until they turn lightly golden in color. They do cook pretty fast. Turn the heat off and pour the sauce into a bowl and set that aside. Now for the salmon, we're going to cut it into bite-sized pieces without cutting through the skin. Once the salmon cooks, the skin actually releases on its own, which makes it super easy to remove. I find working with smaller sections also makes it easier to work with. I also like this method because once it cooks and I remove the skin, it's already perfectly portioned and seasoned on every side except for the side that had the skin. Here's a closer look. See how I'm cutting it without cutting the skin? While I'm cooking, once I remove the skin, I just toss the rest of my seasonings on it and flip it, which I'll show you exactly what I mean. Doing it this way helps us to evenly spread the seasonings, allowing for that perfect flavor in every bite. Now with clean hands, we're going to drizzle a little oil on top. And I have a confession to make. Sometimes when I'm cooking, I forget where I put things and I could not find that avocado oil. So I just went ahead and used some olive oil. And then I seasoned with some black pepper, some salt, some salmon rub, garlic powder, smoked paprika, and dried oregano. Now heat up some oil in a pan on medium-high heat and then add the salmon skin side down. We're going to cook this for about 5 to 6 minutes. Now we're going to flip gently. You see how easily the skin is coming off? We're going to peel the rest of the skin off and then season with the same seasonings. After cooking that for about 4 to 5 minutes, we're going to flip it back over for an additional 1 to 2 minutes just so it can get crispy where we remove the skin. Once it's done, remove from the pan and repeat for the rest of the salmon. When I was pregnant with my first son, all I craved was salmon and pineapple. I ate it anytime I could, but with my youngest daughter, I couldn't even stand the smell of fish, so I haven't really cooked much salmon since. Now I'm bringing it back into our meals in fun ways my kids actually enjoy. It's healthy, packed with nutrients, and I want their palates to be a little versatile because we are a family that loves to travel and try new things. So feel free to drop some of your favorite recipe ideas below. Using my spatula, I'm just redefining the cuts so that the pieces are not stuck together. Once that's done, we're going to remove that from the pan, and then we're going to add about 2 handfuls of spinach to the same pan and saute it in all those flavors. Then we're going to add about 1 tablespoon of that sauce we made and cook it down. Once the spinach is done, we're going to go ahead and remove it from the heat and just set that aside. And turn our heat down to low heat and add the salmon back into the pan, and then we're going to add the rest of the sauce and give it a little toss. Now it's time for my favorite part. It's time to plate. Look how perfect the sweet potatoes came out. The skin is just right, crispy with so much flavor, and the inside is soft, cooked to perfection. Using a fork, I like to gently mash the inside of the potatoes a bit. You can add some butter here, but I opted out this time since we're going to top it with the sauce we made. Once I'm done mashing the insides, I add some spinach. Next, I add some of my steamed broccoli and onions. The good thing about this recipe is you can honestly use whatever vegetables you like. I feel like any vegetable would work. Then add some of the salmon. You can add as much or as little as you like. And then I just drizzle with some of that honey sesame sauce we made, and voila! If you give this honey sesame salmon loaded sweet potato a try, let me know in the comments how your family enjoyed it. I'd love to hear your twists and tips or favorite ways to serve it. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss another delicious Foodie Mom recipe. Thanks for watching!